Welcome back to the main stage and the Motorfest Walk of Fame. It's the place to be if you really want to become a Motorfest legend. Each month is a chance for your name to be marked onto the stars. Here's the Motorfest legend of last month. This month, a new legend rises to the challenge.
What's up, guys and girls? We're here at the Red Bull Playground of Maui, scene of the Red Bull Intense playlist. And if you've played it, you know what I mean. Okay, we're very far from finished. Things aren't so bad in Hawaii after all, so why leave now? Red Bull has invited you to an adrenaline-filled Red Bull main stage season. Motorfest promises 4 weeks of competitions and emotions, AGP, racing, rallycross and more. You're entering the crazy multidisciplinary world of Red Bull. It's just beginning and I'm so excited.
constraints removed. You can now experience it, driver. rivals face each other proudly in the Maui sun, symbolizing the intense speed clash that awaits you. What do you think? This was generated by a cousin of mine. I'm not great with poetry, but talking to you about play... Now that I can do. Motorfest takes on the colours of Red Bull, the most energetic brand in motorsport. Been investing in...
and girls, Becky Evans here. I'm joining Motorfest for this new playlist, and I didn't come alone. Red Bull sets up at the summit of Maui on a playground dedicated to every possible racing discipline. We love it. In this playlist, you get to become a pro at every discipline and find out which discipline is the best. Can a motocross bike beat a rally car? Can an AGP beat an aeroplane? It's up to you to take on the craziest challenges and answer the questions that everyone's asking. And I won't be the only one hosting this playlist. Motorsport stars will join us and give you all of their tips and stories. It's shaping up nicely. Let's go. Let's begin the Red Bull experience.
Of Discipline starts now. To get the full experience, check out Sounds of Red Bull, the new track list in the music player. Another activity awaits. We start this Red Bull playlist with a rallycross race. Let's see how the Ford Puma Hybrid will fare against other rally monsters, like the Audi Quattro, the Citroën C3, or the Focus RS. But before that, we take a look at Motorfest, the podcast.
There's been time where I was working 12 to 14-hour days, 7 days a week, working 2 or 3 different jobs sometimes, just to pay for another hour of flying and another flying lesson. And yeah, it's been worth it.
Welcome back to Motorfest, the podcast. My name is Becky Evans, and this is a podcast brought to you by Red Bull and Ubisoft's iconic game, The Crew. Motorfest.
Hey guys, welcome to Motorfest, the podcast. Here I get real with Red Bull athletes to tell us about the intensity of motorsports and the love they feel for it. And let's talk about Rallycross, which is the theme of the first playlist event. For the occasion, I asked 2 of the most exciting Rallycross names about their ideal car. Here are the Hanson brothers.
Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, Timmy, if you were to describe your ultimate dream machine, what would it be?
Something like, what they have in Pikes Peak, a lot of power, a lot of suspension travel, being able to jump really far.
Kevin, over to you.
Like really long suspension travel, so you can jump like crazy. Rebel livery, red.
Yep, okay, makes sense.
The car you're about to drive meets a lot of Kevin and Timmy's criteria. I hope you guys will love it. Oh, and to listen to the full podcast, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Just go to the Sounds of Red Bull tracklist of your music player. Enjoy the race. Welcome to the Red Bull Playground, boys and girls. Becky Evans here, improvising as the voice of the playlist. Ray Waller, the official voice of the festival, is bedridden, but don't worry, he'll be back soon. I'll be commentating on what you see, and don't blink because things are going to happen fast. tarmac. It's a cross-terrain race, just like this playlist, mixing all the disciplines of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always wanted to say that. In my last podcast, Timmy Hansen explained how essential it is to gather enough speed, keep the nose up, and land flat for a successful jump. Woohoo! Looks like this one listens to the podcast. Today, I see the Audi S1 EKS RX Quattro, the 2016 World Champion, has started in first position. But the big surprise, undoubtedly the Ford Puma Hybrid Rally 1, the brand's first electrified rally car. Boys and girls. Clash. Continues.
It's time for a first clash of disciplines. 2 disciplines, 2 paths. Choose your discipline and prove that it can set the fastest time.
Welcome back to Motorfest, the podcast. My name is Becky Evans, and this is a podcast brought to you by Red Bull and Ubisoft's iconic game, The Crew Motorfest. Now, in this podcast, this is where I get to talk to motorsport athletes about their passions, all things speed, wings, and wheels. And you know what the really cool thing is? You could
Becky, your turn.
Actually listen to this podcast whilst you're playing the game. So grab one of your dream vehicles, jump in, strap in, because you're about to hear from the athletes that actually get to drive these in the real world. Let's get the show started. Now, today we've got a very, very special guest. We're going to be chatting to Luke Chiapella.
All right, boys and girls, I'm super excited because we get to see the first clash of motorsports. We're staying in the dirt, and you know the first opponent because we already saw it in action, the Puma. But for the second, you'll have to listen to my last interview.
Hi, I'm Robbie Madison. I'm freestyle motocross rider. I've done a lot of cool stunts
As a champion athlete and stunt performer, what does flirting with the limit mean for you?
To me, flirting with the limit is like being in the moment. When you're able to flirt with the limit, you're operating at the full maximum potential that you're able to operate. That's the pinnacle, right? That's peak performance.
And you guys, are you ready to flirt with the limits? Team Hansen or Team Madison? Which side are you on? The Ford Puma. Now you know better than anyone what this machine is capable of. You're witnessing a real speed clash. The first one to the finish is the winner. Right now, the bike and the car are on the same course, but to keep things fair, they'll diverge onto separate routes designed to let each vehicle work to its full potential. The course is about to split. Straight ahead for the car, right for the motorcycle. The KTM definitely has the advantage of airtime. She's much better at jumping. But the Puma can deal with asphalt and is more reliable on straights. Both have their strong points. Which one will exploit theirs best? No matter the vehicle, dirt requires reflexes, but above all, instinct. Making the right choices quickly is the key to surviving the race. Motocross. We've got our answer, boys and girls. Back to the interview.
Now, today we've got a very, very special guest. We're going to be chatting to Luke Chapella. Luke is a
The dirt chapter is finished. We're moving on to asphalt vehicles. We start quietly, and I use big quotation marks, with a little warm-up ride on a racing bike.
award-winning Red Bull Air Race winner, known for his precision, skill, and fearless flying. From winning the Challenger Cup to landing a plane on a helipad in Dubai, Luke is committed to pushing the boundaries of flying. Luke, we're delighted to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I'm just going to jump straight into it. I am terrified of flying. So when I knew I was going to be chatting to you, I was thinking this guy is going to have to tell me everything that gets him up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to do a loop in a plane.
You know, flying aerobatics.
podcast studio. Listen to this, folks. What you're hearing is the sound of the KTM RC16 2022 version, and that's my guess for today. 4 cylinders, 1,000 cubic centimeters, 250 horsepower for just 346 pounds. Take a look at this dynamic marvel and get ready to drive in the time attack. Don't forget, when you're driving along the coast of Maui or the streets of Honolulu, you can listen to all the podcast episodes on the Sounds of Red Bull track list. Now, time to unleash the moto racing power.
Boys and girls, this event can seem simple, but it's crucial for our driver. A time attack to test whether the driver can handle the next clash of disciplines. Playground landmark, and no lie, it's definitely not safe. The RC16 is a little marvel. We had to wait until 2017 to see the RB KTM factory join the competition. The brand has won everything in other competitions, so it was time to see them take on moto racing. Or roll the dice with something unknown. It's an agonizing decision.
Clash of disciplines in sight. When a racing bike meets a racing car, it's It's a real battle for the asphalt.
The podcast continues. So when I knew I was going to be chatting to you, I was thinking this guy is going to have to tell me everything that gets him up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to do a loop in a plane.
You know, flying.
For the next one, we'll put two disciplines in a head-to-head race and see which one crosses the line first. Racing car or racing bike? Which one is the best? Will it be the beautiful Ferrari 488 in its circuit version or the KTM RC16 that we all know has great skills? I'm leaning towards the bike. It's lighter and its top speed flirts with 224 miles per hour. It's the logical choice. But aren't we here to defy the laws of logic? Racing car addicts, it's up to you to prove otherwise. Ferrari meets Red Bull.
No individual courses today. It's a pure face-off on a circuit designed for both vehicles. So I don't want to hear any sore losers complaining. May the best win. This evening, the KTM RC16 takes on the Ferrari 488 GT3. 600 horsepower for 2,777 pounds for the Italian machine, while the Austrian Stallion boasts only 270 horsepower, but for 346 pounds, not insignificant. The car and the bike can both turn well at speed, but it's the exit of the turn and the entry into the next one that will be decisive. Of the course isn't a track. It's been specially resurfaced to provide a little extra speed. Look at the volcano smoke. So cool. Regardless of who wins, this clash has a lot to live up to. Racing cars has just put an end to the discussion.
Flash. Hear all the inside facts on the world of racing on Sounds of Red Bull, the official channel of motorsport.
Back to the interview. So when I knew I was going to be chatting to you, I was thinking this guy is going to have to tell. Hey boys and girls, I hope you can keep up because we're about to go hard with the elite of motorsports, the AGP. cars that can easily go up to 220 miles per hour. And because we always want more in this playlist, we add boost gauges. It's going to be strategic. And as always, I did my homework and talked all things racing with a pro driver. You might know him, Yuki Tsunoda. Could you break down what you feel your driving style is for us watching you on the screen?
My dad used to teach me a lot about braking. Definitely, I like to adapt braking. Recently, last Grand Prix was a bit too much sometimes, and yeah, unfortunately, a couple of times went to the wall. You know, it feels great when you feel the G-force, you know, with the maximum longitudinal G-force when you have nailed the great braking.
And beside braking hard, be focused at the start. It's decisive for the rest of the race.
Drivers are focused. The start is imminent. Let's go! A full AGP race, using boosts in the right place at the right time, will be decisive. It's raining. It's going to be a completely different race from now on. Circuit. 4 generations, RB13, 14, 18 and 20. 7 years of evolution from Renault to Honda engines. Between them, these 4 account for more than 70 podiums. Ultimate lap. Drivers, if you've got any extra nitro, now's the time to use it. Superb victory. Proof that RB AGP just keeps getting better and better.
Back to our podcast.
You've just discovered the RB20. You can keep it for what follows, but you can also opt for a vehicle that's a little less earthbound. The choice is yours.
I knew I was going to be chatting to you. I was thinking, this guy is going to have to tell me everything that gets him up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to do a loop in a plane.
You know, flying aerobatics gives you such a freedom. You know, it's not every day that you can fly aircraft upside down, or you can fly it in reverse, like at 60 kilometers per hour.
Back to the podcast, guys. As you've seen, the playground is a motorsport paradise, but there's still a place that we haven't experienced so far. The sky. I was lucky enough to feature Luke Chapella, Red Bull Air Race pilot, famous for being the first to land a plane on the very tiny helipad 600 feet in the air.
I'd love to know more about the bullseye stunt. There's an attempt, and then the plane like bounces and you keep going, and I had a heart attack and was like, oh my God.
I almost got a heart attack on the first one as well. It took me like 650 practice landings before I went for the actual landing on the helipad. So for an athlete to come out from what I thought was a failure, but that was quite challenging.
So cool. The video is online. You have to check it out. The next race is the most experimental of the playlist. AGP versus stunt plane. Place your bets.
This is the second time that Red Bull is loaning you the RB20. You'll start to make a Dutchman jealous. Unsurprisingly, the AGP has the advantage on startup, but once the plane is airborne, it's a different story. If you're a Red Bull addict, you'll probably know that this isn't the first time an AGP and a plane have been put on the same grid. Last time, it was in a straight line in a drag race. Here the plane will have to make very tight turns if it wants to keep up with the AGP, which is much more accustomed to doing so. That's really exciting. We enter the second lap. I'm sure you're familiar with the RB20 on the track today, certainly more so than its aerial rival. Stressed for 10G and capable of reaching 975 meters per minute, its size makes it the perfect aerobatic aircraft. Let's hope our pilot will give us a taste. succession of turns is tricky. When it comes to speed, the AGPs play in a different division.
Alright, let's keep talking.
One more clash to close this Red Bull playlist. This one is big.
Okay.
Confronting two disciplines is not enough. So Motorfest and Red Bull are offering you the choice of three. Which is the best? Becky asked our Red Bull athletes what they think.
Craft upside down, or you can fly it in reverse, like at 60 kilometers per hour. All the G-forces that we experience, it's something that you cannot experience on the ground. That's why I'm so happy to share it with other people. Give them the taste of the freedom that we get.
In your honest opinion, between rally, AGP, and motor racing, which is the most intense discipline? The one that brings the craziest sensations?
I think it's motor racing, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I think F1, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd go for Formula One.
Rallycross, moto racing, or AGP? Here comes the ultimate challenge of the playlist, but also the end of the podcast. But I'm never far away. I'm always on the air. You find all the podcasts on the Sounds of Red Bull tracklist. And then, I don't know why, but I feel like we'll see each other again soon. It's off to the apex of the playlist.
The Ford Fiesta replaced another Ford at short notice. The Puma missed weight. Who will cross the line first in this head-to-head race? Answer in, about a few minutes. The rally car has already changed its course to reach the dirt. Each vehicle has its own special route designed to match its strengths. The AGP stands out for its speed and braking quality, and of course it sticks to asphalt and is unbeatable in corners. So to make things fair, it will be racing the longest route. The bike's route, on the other hand, is shorter but ultra-technical, forcing the rider to swing through the curves without losing speed. Switching between dirt and asphalt, that's its strength. In addition to its high acceleration, its all-terrain capability means it can compete with faster rivals. Is the longest. Everything can still change. to find out who's going to win the ultimate racetrack, the Speed War. Dirt proving stronger than asphalt, the rally car set the fastest time.
There's a reward vehicle waiting for you.
Let's get back to Motorfest, the podcast.
Freedom that we get, and spread the joy of flying.
Now, I come from a
End of Speed Clash, the first milestone in a promising release.
drifting background,
Keep in touch.
and I was around cars from a very, very young age, and it was actually my dad who sort of ignited that in me, because I remember seeing him play
All right, let's move to the next objective.
with his race car in the garage.
End of Speed Clash, the first milestone in a promising relationship between Red Bull and Motorfest. I'm sure this is just the beginning.
It was the same kind of for you, wasn't it? You went to an air show when you were a very small boy, and then that was it. You were hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. My spark ignited when I was 6 years old. My dad took me to the air show in Poland, and it's just been amazing. You know, I was watching an aerobatic display, and the aircraft was doing a tail slide. It's a figure where you go vertically up, and it seems like you're shutting down the engine, and the aircraft starts to slide back on.
The podcast continues.
And it's just been amazing. You know, I was watching an aerobatic display, and the aircraft was doing a tail slide. It's a figure where you go vertically up, and it seems like you're shutting down the engine, and the aircraft starts to slide back on its tail. And I saw it as a 6-year-old kid, and I was like, Dad, I'm gonna do it in the future. And you know, many 6-year-old kids have different dreams every week. Sometimes you want to be a policeman, the week after you want to be a fireman. But for me, it has never changed. I've been flying now for 26 years, and I still love it.
That's absolutely crazy that you just picked your direction and just stuck with it. I mean, your first flight lesson, you were 14 years old, and then by 16 you got your license. So there was definitely method in your madness. This was all moving towards where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was so motivated. Like from this air show, I started playing with aircraft models, flying models, and then I just went to the airport and I became what's known as a hangar rat. You know, cleaning the airplanes for everyone. And in exchange, that they would take me for a flight and usually let me fly the aircraft, give me the first lessons. By the time I went solo at 16, I was over the moon. It's been a lot of hard work, but so rewarding as well.
Luke, we were just saying to you just then, flying was always going to be what you were going to do. And I'm going to give you a question which I almost feel like I know what the answer is already. If you could be a car, a plane, a boat, or a motorbike, which would you be and why?
Yeah, of course I'd go for a plane, but you know, this is what my life is all about. It's always been about flying. I have 13,500 hours in the year. That's 4 years of my life. 10% of my life has been spent in the air. So yeah, I just want to be a better pilot with every flight I take.
I'd love to know more about the bullseye stunt. I mean, we saw and heard it at the beginning of the episode. Personally, for me, I remember seeing that, and I watched the video, and I had a heart attack and was like, oh my God. But obviously, I know that this guy made this happen because everyone's celebrating it, but I couldn't cope with it.
I almost got a heart attack on the first one as well. It was incredibly difficult project that we did. Landing a plane in such a short distance, it's not something very unusual for this kind of aircraft, but landing the plane on a small helipad that is 600 feet in the air, 200 meters above sea level, that hasn't been done before, and it comes with a lot of difficulties. One of those difficulties is that the shape of the building created very special wind vortices, like a little tornadoes coming up the building, hitting the helipad, and these tornadoes want to suck in my aircraft and throw it towards the building. And that's what happened on the first attempts when the winds were quite strong. So usually if you try to land short, you want a lot of wind because the wind will assist you, but not on a helipad. On a helipad, the less wind we had, was easier to fly with the plane. So all in all, it took me like 650 practice landings before I went for the actual landing on the helipad, and the first 2 attempts on the helipad on a windy day, they were not very successful, and then we had to reset and try again the day after, so that was quite challenging.
I feel like the stakes are quite high, especially when you're doing something like that as well. Not only are you on like the Red Bull World stage creating a moment in history, there's the practical element of it as well, of trying to land this thing on a really tall building.
Yeah, so for me, being the best pilot I can be, it's the most rewarding. I'm not doing any of this for fame or money or whatever. I'm just doing it to show that I'm good, and I always want to be the best I can be. And I think we proved with this project that it was one of the toughest things I ever did with the plane. And now we can see how successful the project was. We have like way over 1 billion views on the videos all over the platforms. So.
That's brilliant. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, for you guys that are listening at home, air sport, the sky is literally the limit with this. Aerobatics is a bit like acrobatics, except you're flying an aircraft. There's a lot of other things to consider, though, when you are flying. There's obviously safety, speed, weather. Luke, can you give us a rundown of like 3 main things that you have to be watching out for when you attempt to do some aerobatics in the sky?
Yeah, I think first will be the weather. All our aircraft don't have very sophisticated instruments, so we have to fly what's known as VFR condition, visual flying rules. We always have to see the ground. We have to stay outside of the clouds, and the winds play a big factor. Then, of course, it's the technical standard of the aircraft. We always try to make sure that the aircraft is airworthy. Having an engine failure approaching a helipad so close to the building or flying upside down 2 meters above the runway, it's an extreme sport. Second, for sure, would be the technical side, and I think the third, but as equal as the other 2, would be, of course, pilot fitness, and we want to make sure I'm rested, I'm in a good physical condition. The G-forces is something that we fight with a lot. We try from -8 Gs to +10. What it means, I can get up to 10 times heavier, like weighing 80 kilos. I have 800 kilos of force hitting my body. The blood is 10 times heavier, and it drains away from the brain, goes towards my legs. And you can faint, and you can lose your consciousness, and that can be, of course, very dangerous when you're close to the ground, flying at 400 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, that does sound pretty crazy. I've seen some of the videos, when they put passengers in the plane. That's why I'm frightened, Luke, when you said if I can go in the plane. I'd be like, I'd pass out. I'd be rubbish. You'd be looking back, and I'd just be asleep in the back seat. Terrible. Luke, help us understand a little bit more.
New challenges unlocked.
About the specifics of your job. I mean, because what people need to know is obviously you compete in Red Bull Air Race as well, and that is a competition. So what are the skills and the awareness that you need to be able to do this?
Yeah, Red Bull Air Race was one of the best flying I ever had a chance to do. And, you fly aircraft at 400 kilometers per hour between gates, which are only 15 meters apart. And the entire track has like 6 kilometers length, and we fly it in under a minute sometimes. Incredible speeds. The aircraft can roll 420 degrees per second. That's 0.8 seconds to make a full roll. You need to be incredibly precise and really good pilot in order to plan, not to stay behind the plane. Really good hand-to-eye coordination, I think, is a key factor, and as well as physical fitness, because we are so close to the ground, pulling high G forces. If you lose your concentration for a couple of seconds, this can be really bad for you.
Can you tell us, like, how you came from, it's quite a small place in Poland that you grew up in, to how you managed to take those steps to becoming the amazing pilot that you are today?
I think it's all about the motivation. If you have a big goal set somewhere on the horizon, then you'll find a way to find the next step and next. It's all about those small steps that when you achieve them, they will keep you going. And, I didn't have a very rich parents to support me. To start gliding, I was doing building jobs.